One final prediction episode, Lance. It's time to unveil our college football playoff predictions. Before we get to that, we thought we should give you how we think the team should start out ranked because we are firm believers in disavowing the AP poll. I mean, someone actually voted for UNLV preseason number 12 in that poll. So the shenanigans are already starting. We are giving you our annual preseason ATB top 12 rankings. This is Always Talking Ball. Tyler Noe, Lance Barton. Real quick before we get started, as always, make sure you like and subscribe on whatever platform you're tuned in on. Make sure you follow us on X, Instagram, and TikTok. And as always, we are brought to you by Frostbuddy. A lot of you guys are taking advantage of those deals over there. And obviously, you know that if you use our website, it really helps us out. And you know what would be awesome? Once you get your Frostbuddy in the mail, snap a pic, send it to us on X, and we will repost it for you, man. We love sharing that stuff. Head over to frostbuddy.com/ATB. Pick up your 10-in-1 can cooler, otherwise known as a koozie. It'll fit any size can or bottle that you put in there. They have over 80 NCAA schools that you can buy from. So chances are they have your school, although I'm still a little upset they don't have Notre Dame yet. I heard they're working on it, though. But there's probably still some time to get you yours shipped by week 1. Once again, frostbuddy.com/ATB. All right, brother, let's get to it. Our preseason top 12 rankings, starting with the number 12, Arizona State Sun Devils. Big 12 represent Kenny Dillingham, Sam Levitt, and the boys, fresh off a college football playoff performance, coming in number 12.
Yeah, man. With again what they're bringing back, they're one of the top 2 or 3 teams in the country in returning production. Bringing in transfer Kanye Udo from Army at running back. Again, over 1,000 yards rushing. It's just, again, I was as shocked as everybody when I saw that there was a transfer from Army. I didn't know they could do that at the military academy, but hey, great opportunity for him from a football standpoint to be in this Kenny Dillingham offense here with Marcus Arroyo and be behind Sam Levitt. Obviously, you saw what they could do with a good running game. And again, the production they're going to have around them with Tyson at bringing back him at wide receiver. I mean, they're going to have one of the better offenses in the Big 12. We love Sam Levitt, dude. He's a dog. We had him ranked in our top 5. I think we had him at 5th, didn't we? For our top 5 quarterback. When we did our top 12 quarterbacks list, he was number 5 on our list, leading the Big 12, obviously, right ahead of Sawyer Robertson and Josh Hoover and a couple of others. But yeah, man, this Arizona State team, Kenny Dillingham talked about, man, at one point this offseason, like, why couldn't they be kind of like the new, whatever phrase he used, kind of like the new blue blood of the next 10 years, kind of how Clemson came out of nowhere and did that with Dabo, with the NIL deal that they're doing there now with the Sun Devil Collective that Kenny D likes to talk about publicly a lot. I'm just interested, man, can this team continue the success that they had last year? And dude, I think you probably agree with me on this. Very impressive what they did, obviously, during Big 12 play, man. Going on that run that they did at the end of last year. Just absolutely just clapping Iowa State's cheeks in the Big 12 championship game like they did. But, dude, the showing that they had in that freaking Peach Bowl against Texas, the type of just overall talent that Texas had on that team, man, that really gained a ton of respect for me, for Arizona State, that they might be able to take that next step and play at even a higher level, which is why we have them ranked number 12.
Number 11, we got, hey, real quick, look at the bottom of the screen and hit that subscribe button. If it's already hit, we appreciate you very much. If not, it doesn't cost you a thing, and we appreciate you as well. Thank you. Texas A&M, obviously coming off Mike Elko's first year, and they were one game away from the SEC championship game. Had a quarterback switch mid-year. Seemed to work out for him. Connor Wigman to Marcel Reed. Le'Veon Moss goes down in game 8. He's back. He's healthy. They revamped that wide receiver group. They lost some guys on the defense, but it's Mike Elko. If there's a place you're going to trust him, it's going to be defense. So we've got A&M at number 11, and then a team they're going to play halfway through the season. Game 6 is number 10. And this might shock some people, but this is how we think the team is, not looking at any schedule. It's like, where should you be ranked, right? We got Florida. We got Florida number 10. We are very, very high on DJ Lagway here. Very high on Jaden Ball. Billy Napier has, had a rocky tenure to say the least, except for the last, 6, 7 games last year. But they really seem to turn it around. And the true test will be can if they can carry that momentum forward from 24 into 25, and they kind of springboard off that and they start off the year good. Um, that will be, kind of that'll be the signal, right? If they go back to what they were first half of 24, like the rumors are going to heat up again about Napier's job security.
Yeah, I don't disagree, man. And we had, ESPN, SEC Network analyst, and former Florida great first team All SEC wide receiver there in the Steve Spurrier era. Chris Doering had him on our show here recently. Go check that out. It's on YouTube, Spotify, Apple. Our interview with Chris Doering about doing for our Florida preview, season preview. And again, man, we talked about like Lagway, Jaden Ball, like they get all the pub, but dude, the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball for Florida is really a huge reason why I'm personally very high on them. I don't think they have to take a backseat to anybody with both sides of the line of scrimmage. I mean, they're going to be nasty. And I just, man, if Lagway can just stay healthy, which obviously is an if with him right now, if he can just stay healthy, he went 6-1 as a starter last year, the games he started and finished. With what they're going to have now, weapons at wide receiver, they did a really good job, man, of bringing in some blue chip recruits and guys that they're bringing back, coming back from injury. Trey Wilson, bringing in Dallas Wilson and Burnell Brown the third. And they're huge blue chip recruits that Lagway is going to be able to throw it to now. Man, I just think this Florida team, again, I don't care how tough their schedule is, those teams have to deal with this Florida team as well.
Do you think these first three teams we mentioned, do you think they can win a national championship?
Yeah, I do. I do think that Florida can because if Lagway's ceiling, dude, is like the old Michael Jordan joke, the ceiling is the roof. I mean, their ceiling is just seriously through the roof with Lagway. And that 4 game stretch last year where they won their last 4 games and that defense had like 38 tackles for a loss and like 19 sacks and forced 12 turnovers in those 4 games. I mean, a lot of that whole defense that was making a lot of those plays and was doing that, they're all back.
Hmm.
And then Lagway, Jaden Ball, like a lot of those guys that were making plays down the stretch for Florida on that offense, they're all back. So if Lagway takes that next step forward and progresses and can be as good as what everybody thinks he can be, yeah, man, I don't see why they can't. And I mean, for me, for A&M, it would really for me, it would have to be, can Marcel Reed, can he take that next jump? I think
Hmm.
they've got the offensive line at Texas A&M. They bring back literally their entire offensive line plus 2 guys that played coming off the bench. Uh, with their run game, with Mike Elko's defense, I'm not worried about that for them. It's just I don't know that Marcel Reed can carry Texas A&M or lead them to a national championship. And Arizona State, I just don't think, man, they have the horses to go through multiple games through the
Hmm.
playoffs.
Yeah.
Can they beat like again? They almost beat Texas last year.
Yeah.
Can they go first round and beat somebody really good? I think they can. But can they win 3 or 4 games in a row in the playoffs? I don't think that they're built that way yet.
Okay. Number 9, last year's number 1 seeded team in the CFP, the Oregon Ducks, Dan Lanning, replacing Dylan Gabriel. I mean, do you believe the rumors out there that
Nope.
Austin Novosad? I mean, I saw another one today that they interviewed him, and he's like, I believe I've done enough to win this job. I mean, why would he say anything differently? But it kind of it's one of those things that's been Dante Moore all off season, and maybe it's just smokescreen. I don't know, but 2 good quarterback options there. Obviously, they lost Evan Stewart, so I know they got a lot of depth behind him at wide receiver. They got Mekhi Hughes coming in from Tulane. The defense should be solid as well. Dan Lanning really very, I mean, maybe once or twice in his tenure at Oregon has lost games that he's not supposed to lose. Like, I mean, he was favored in a couple of those games against Washington, like especially that Pac-12 title game by
Yeah.
8 or 9 points, but very rarely at Oregon in his 3 years there has he lost games that he is supposed to win.
Yeah, I don't disagree, man. And like honestly, I think that could be more of a knock that like Vegas very rarely gets it wrong. I just think they were wrong there to have it that big of a spread. in that Washington Pac-12
Yeah.
championship game and that rematch game. But yeah, man, I mean, it's kind of an interesting deal with Oregon. They're replacing a lot on both sides of the ball, but like they are one of the five, I will say five, one of the best five teams in the country at talent acquisition
Mhm.
during this NIL transfer portal era. They've done a really good job in high school recruiting, and they've done a really good job of supplementing through the transfer portal for their needs.
Yeah.
They did that this year. They added some absolute studs along the offensive line, and they needed to. They needed to replace with a good tailback. They brought in Mekhi Hughes, like you mentioned. Defensively, they brought in some solid pieces on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about them. We talked about a lot about Texas and Georgia being kind of like up there, A and B, like tier one, you know, talent acquisition. Oregon's not far behind. Like you
Oh
just
no,
mentioned, like with the portal and the high school, like they are right there with Texas and Georgia in my mind.
yeah, Texas, Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, Oregon. It's probably those five, unless I'm missing somebody that I'm not, that I'm not thinking about. But that those five, from a talent acquisition standpoint, are as good as it gets.
Yeah,
Oregon, for me, I need to see them take the next step defensively, bro. For me to take them serious as a national championship team.
yeah,
Uh,
they were solid last year till
they
that Big Ten championship game.
exactly, and again, though, they were solid until Ohio State, when they got them at home,
Yeah,
like, obviously, Ohio State still went up down the field, score. They won that game. Oregon won that game. And but the Rose Bowl game and that Big Ten championship game, like, we were at that Big Ten
yeah.
championship game, and you and I left talking about, like, "Man, was that just an admiration, or is that, like, has Oregon got problems, up front?" And we saw in the Rose Bowl that what we saw, you and I
Well,
saw in
and we saw
person.
what Ashton Genty did to him too. We
That's true.
too,
That's true.
So maybe it
Yeah.
wasn't. Maybe we're
Yeah.
just overlooking it.
Yeah, and I mean Tosh Lupoi, solid DC, great recruiter, solid DC. But I need to see Oregon take that next step from a defensive standpoint against the best teams that they're going to play on their schedule for them to compete. Because again, we're not Oregon's one of those teams, man. We're not talking about them anymore being that 10-2 type team and getting
Mhm.
to the playoffs. No, we're talking about Oregon now trying to take that next step and win a national championship and compete for a national championship. We probably would be saying a lot different about them right now if they wouldn't have had that stupid seeding thing that they had last year, because they ended up drawing Ohio State right out of
Yeah,
the gate. If they would have went to straight seeding like they should have last year, Oregon probably would have had a much better draw in the playoffs and would have made it a little further. But again, obviously, we saw in that Rose Bowl, I don't think Oregon was going to be winning a national championship last year
yeah.
because of what Ohio State did to them. Uh, but yeah, I need to see Oregon take that next step up front defensively and just overall defensively. I'm not worried about Will Stein's offense. And I still think it's going to be Dante Moore at quarterback. I don't believe those rumors. Maybe I'll be proven wrong on that. Wouldn't be the first time. But I don't care if it's me or you playing quarterback, bro, for that offense. Until Will Stein has a bad offense or a mediocre offense or even just a good offense, because his offenses hadn't been even good. They've been great. They've
Yep.
been elite since he's even his days at UTSA before
Mhm.
he got to Oregon. So I just whoever the hell the quarterback's going to be, man, I believe that this offense is going to be legit.
Number 8, we've got the LSU Tigers. This is probably the highest we've had Brian Kelly and the Tigers rated since we've been doing this show, since he's been at LSU. Obviously, we know the struggles on defense, but the improvement last year came with
Mhm.
Blake Baker coming from Mizzou. You got the seasoned veteran in Garrett Nussmeyer, number 2 ranked quarterback in our mind in the country coming back. Caden Durham at running back. Wide receivers are always loaded. You got to replace a lot on the offensive line. Do we know where Harold Perkins is going to play? Apparently, it's a star position. Is that the best position for him? Should he just be coming off the edge? You got Whit Weeks. So, the pieces are there uh, in Baton Rouge. Can they pay it off?
I just think, man, they're going to be. I've said this many times this offseason, so forgive me for being a dead horse here, but I just think they're going to get back to playing more complementary football, man. They're going to be more balanced across the board as a team, which they desperately need to do that. The last 2 years, man, they've been so reliant on the quarterback because I know everybody's relying on the quarterback position, but like they have not been able to run the football from the tailback position for the last 2 years. And Caden Durham there in the last, 4 or 5 ball games of the year, he was very solid and they started running the football better and running the football more a little down the stretch last year. I expect them to continue that. But the main thing is, man, is like the offense pretty much had to score on every possession. And the quarterback the last 2 years felt like they had to score and win the game with every throw that they were making. I don't think they're going to have to do that this year, man. Hot take here, bro. I'm going to let it rip. I think LSU's defense will be one of the most improved units, period, in all of college football this year. I personally think it's that hot of a take, but I realize that we have, as you have seen on a lot of our social media posts, that everybody just has this disease now to where they think that what you did last year and what you did the year before means that's what you're going to do this year, that there is no such thing that this player can improve or this team can improve or this coach can improve, or that team can get worse or that player can get worse or whatever. I do think this LSU defense, what they've added through the transfer portal, just a complete overhaul in the secondary with really solid, proven power forward production on the defensive line, like Patrick Payton from Florida State, Jack Pyburn from Florida, to add to Whit Weeks, to add to Harold Perkins and some of the pieces that they've already got. Yeah, man, I think this LSU defense is going to be much improved, and they're going to be just again playing more complementary football, which is why I think they're going to be better this year than what they've been the last 2 years.
Number 7, we have the reigning defending SEC champions. And at number 6, we have the reigning defending national champions, Ohio State. That was kind of a toss up. I think I had Ohio State ranked ahead of Georgia. You had Georgia ranked ahead of Ohio State. Really, you're splitting hairs at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, a quarterback between the two, like, again, like you want to go with a guy in Stockton who's played a couple games, or you want to go with a guy in Julian Sayin who may have a higher ceiling, right? Wide receivers, I don't think there's any question who's got the edge at wide receiver, although Georgia has done a lot to improve their wide receiver group,
Yep.
and they better have done it because they led the nation in drops last year, as we've mentioned plenty on this show this offseason. The two big time programs obviously have won national championships in the last handful of years. I mean, 3 of the last 4, right? So, in your mind, what set Georgia ahead of Ohio State for you?
I just trust what Georgia's bringing back overall from a coaching continuity perspective and what they're bringing back, like roster wise. I mean, this is the highest blue chip ratio that Georgia ever had under Kirby Smart. When you take a really deep dive into their roster, their defensive line is going to be really good. Is it going to be what those defensive lines were in 2021 and 2022? No, but I don't know that we're going to see defensive lines like that ever again because of the transfer portal era, but it's still going to be really good. They've got arguably the best inside linebacker tandem in the country. They're bringing back solid pieces in the secondary. Offensively, you just mentioned the wide receivers that they brought in to pair along with like Colby Young and Dylan Bell and guys that they've already got that are very solid. Uh, I think they're going to get back, man, to doing what Kirby Smart wants to do. I still think they're not going to go back to playing like, early 2000s football where it's just 3 yards and a cloud of dust. But I think they're going to get back to playing more like we want to line up and bully you and bloody your damn nose. I think that's the type of style of play that I think Georgia is going to get back to this year. Ohio State, I don't have a problem, bro, with like them replacing the players that they're replacing. Like, obviously, is that like a little bit of a question? A question, not a concern. It's a question for me. Can they replace all that they've replaced? Because Ohio State, just like Georgia, just like Alabama has been over the last several years, just like Texas has been the last couple of years, like, dude, they just reload. When they lose players to the NFL, they just reload. That's why Ohio State's been one of the most consistent programs. But it's the amount of players that they lost to the NFL off that national championship team. That is my question. Again, not a concern.
It's the coordinators.
I was going to say, but my concern is the coordinators. Replacing the best tandem of coordinators in the country with Chip Kelly and Jim Knowles with a first-year primary play caller who is the best wide receivers coach and wide receivers recruiter and developer of wide receiver talent in the country over the last decade plus in Brian Hartline. And Matt Patricia, he was a good defensive coordinator in the NFL, piss poor head coach at the defensive line, but at the Detroit Lions, but that has nothing to do with what he's going to be as a DC for Ohio State at the college level. My question with that is, though, is what is he like as a defensive coordinator without the greatest head coach in the history of the NFL, like our boy Freddie said? without Bill Belichick that's going to be with him. And we don't know.
Yeah.
So, do I think that Patricia and Hartline are bad coordinators? No, I don't. But do I think that they just right out of the gate, bro, are just going to be just there's no drop off. They're just as good as Chip Kelly and Jim Knowles right out of the gate, year one.
Mhm.
If they are, we might be talking about Ohio State going back to back.
Yeah.
But I don't think they are.
Yep.
And I think the combination of replacing all of the talent and replacing both coordinators, I still think Ohio State's going to be in the thick of it, which is why we have them preseason ranked where we have them at 6. I just have questions as far as them not being a top 3 or 4 team in the country because of the reasons I just said.
Number 5, we got Dabo and the Clemson Tigers. Obviously, Cade Klubnik coming back. He's our number 1 quarterback in the country. Wide receiver trio, very, very good. Running back is a little bit of a question, but the defensive line is not a question. The defense as a whole is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Do you think that I can't remember where they were in the AP poll? Just a question off the top of my head. Do you think if Clemson was in the SEC, would they be ranked higher with all that talent they have?
No, I honestly, I think, I mean, they're top 5 in the AP poll. I think they're,
Are they?
yeah, I think they're 3 or 4 in the
Mm,
AP poll. But no, I really do. I think they're getting the respect that is warranted for them. And I think that, again, we've talked about this, bro. As far as like last year, we said going into the year that, did you see it? Did you find it on the AP
yep.
poll?
Yep. They're number 4.
Number 4. Okay.
Number 6 in the
Uh,
coaches poll.
okay. Well, dude, we've talked about this a lot this offseason. It's a good time to bring this up at this point. Dude, really, when I'm looking at this from a overall just talent standpoint and roster standpoint, dude, there's 9 or 10 teams, man, that you could just throw in a hat.
Yeah.
Seriously, like the last year going into the season, everybody talked about Ohio State's roster and how loaded it was and how it was the best roster in the country. 2 years ago, everybody talked about everything that Michigan was bringing back, everything that Georgia was bringing back that year with Carson Beck and Brock Bowers and Lad McConkey and a lot of those defensive players. The year before that, Georgia and the Nick Saban Bama teams, the Dabo Sweeney Clemson teams when they had Trevor Lawrence and Deshaun Watson. Like there were rosters and teams that going into the year, as long as they just didn't beat themselves, you knew that they were going to be sitting there in the thick of it competing for the national
Yeah.
championship. I don't know that about any team in college football this year. Any of these teams that we're talking about right now could do that. So I think with Clemson, what they're bringing back, if the AP poll would have came out and had Clemson number 1, would you have been like, that's stupid, that's crazy?
No.
Me either. Do you think it's stupid or crazy that they're number 4?
No.
No, agreed. That's kind of where that's kind of what my
Yeah.
point I'm making here.
Yep.
And but from an overall roster standpoint, man, I just think this Clemson team is as loaded as any team in the country from their overall starting group on both sides of the ball. And more importantly, dude, I think that they have the staff now that is as good as any staff in the country. Adding Tom Allen as defensive coordinator, after they lost Brent Venables, man, that defense has just not been the same, not even close to being the same, not even nowhere near as dominant. Bringing in Tom Allen, bringing back what they're bringing on the defensive side of the ball. Year 3 in Garrett Riley's system on the offensive side. Obviously, Cade Klubnik, those receivers. Matt Luke is the offensive line coach. Chris Rump is the defensive line coach. I mean, dude, they're loaded as a staff. So I do think Clemson is locked and loaded for a possible national championship run just as much as anybody in the country.
Time for our top 4 at number 4. And again, like you said, you could really pick any one of these teams and put them anywhere 1 through 4. Number 4, we've got Alabama. And I mean, I almost toyed with them, putting them all the way up at number 2. I know I looked at the AP poll, like I mentioned with UNLV at number 12. I tried to look and see where, the lowest that some teams are ranked, the highest that some teams are ranked. I think Alabama was one of those teams. I think they got maybe one. I think there were 6 or 7 teams that got first place votes, and they were, up there at second in a couple of places too. So, I mean, I might be more high on Alabama this year than you are, than all the other Alabama fans are. I mean, confident in their defense, confident in their offensive ability. I'm even confident in their offensive line. Like I know that's heresy to say after the last couple of years, but again, we've been talking about it, and we don't really have to beat a dead horse, but the offense is going to look different this year with Ty Simpson at the helm versus Jalen Milroe.
Yeah, dude, even Ryan Grubb finally just by the way, the Ryan Grubb hire, obviously, we've talked about this a ton. Incredible hire, one of the best hires, period, in the offseason overall. Could turn out to be one of the hires that ends up winning a team a national championship, like a Chip Kelly was for Ohio
Mhm.
State last year, the way he was calling plays during that college football playoff run for the Buckeyes last year. Uh, but dude, he even came out and had a quote that said that, yeah, this offense is meant to have a quarterback that is accurate and can push the ball down the field as opposed to having a run first
Yeah.
type quarterback. Obviously, everybody knew what he was talking about without even saying it, what he meant by that. Uh, the defense is going to be what it is, man. It's going to be one of the best defenses in the country with what they're bringing back. One of the best secondaries in the country. I have no worries on that side of the ball. Offensively, man, it really just comes down to, can Ty Simpson just be the game manager, point guard, distribute the ball to the playmakers, because his wide receivers are going to be ridiculous. I know Jam Miller's out injured right now. He's going to be back, kind of early on in SEC play. I think they've got plenty of backs, and Richard Young and Daniel Hill and Dre Washington from Louisiana. That's going to be fine to be able to hold it over till then. My question, though, is, with it being more of a traditional passer from from the quarterback spot and not a running type quarterback, will this offensive line be better? Like, I know you said you think it will be better. I've just gotten to the point, man, I got to see it. I
Yeah.
got to see it to believe it. I don't care who has seen practices, because we
Yeah.
listened to people the last 2 years who saw practices that this offensive line's going to bully people, going to be joyless murder ball and stuff. Like, no, no, I want to see it. So I will not sit here and for 1 second and say, I think Alabama's offensive line is going to be elite, because I don't know. But if that offensive line is more consistent, then I do think Alabama is going to be one of those teams that we're talking about competing for a championship.
Speaking of needing to see it to believe it, we got number 3, Penn State. And there's really not much more to say about them except, Drew Aller coming back, Singleton and Allen in the backfield, one of the top offensive lines in the country. Again, the wide receivers, like, it seems like they really brought in a lot of really good receivers. Um, Again, you have to see it to believe it there. Defense is going to be stacked even with losing a guy like Abdul Carter,
Yeah.
Zane Durant, denied Dennis Sutton. Like,
I mean, they're another one, bro. They
yeah,
lose stud linebackers and stuff
yeah,
all the time to the NFL, and it's just, who's the next one wearing the sticks?
exactly. Yep.
There's like LeVar Arrington Jr. or whatever. I think now
Hmm.
is the one that's out there rocking the
Yep.
sticks for Penn State.
Yep.
I'm with you, bro. Like, I actually was on my way home back from Iowa today. I was listening to Pate. Josh Pate was there yesterday, and he interviewed James Franklin, and he was talking about, seeing that wide receiver core there in person in practice, and he said, yeah, it's no doubt it looks different. Uh, but again, I need to see it.
Yeah.
Uh, I I think that they've got, if not the best, it's arguably the best tandem of coordinators now
Yeah.
in the country, with Andy Kotelnicki and Jim Knowles, and that is a huge reason why I believe in this Penn State team this year. It's the obviously what they're bringing back overall, and it's also the coaching staff overall as a whole in general, but especially those two coordinators. No matter what people think of James Franklin, I get it. He's not winning the biggest games every year. He's still a really freaking good football coach. He
Yeah.
is. He wins a ton of damn games. He wins the games he's supposed to, and he loses the games he's supposed to, if you look at point spreads.
Yeah.
Uh, but it's obvious, man, based off what everybody's saying this year in the offseason, the national narrative and national media, it's it's national championship or bust from the national media, and I think
Mhm.
from probably the majority of Penn State fans, it's not national championship or bust in my eyes. But I definitely do think that this team needs to make a deep run, and they are poised to do that. My question for you, again, the people that just think that what you did last year means it's what you're going to be this year. Do you think Drew Aller makes a big step forward this year in year 2 in Andy Kotelnicki's system?
I think he does.
I'm with you. I
Um,
do too.
and I mean, you hate to say, 21, 22-year-old kid's got a ton of pressure on his shoulders, but he does, man.
He
Like,
does.
and I'm sure he's paid handsomely for it. Now, now that college players are paid,
Mhm.
you wanted to be a professional, now you get treated like a professional. You get the criticism of throwing that late interception in the Orange Bowl last year against Notre Dame. Like, you're going to get criticized for that. So I just think if he can cut down on those mistakes and obviously lean in on those guys in the backfield, that's going to help a lot. leaning on that defense, like just kind of again, just trust what you've got. I mean, he's not going to have his safety blanket in Tyler Warren anymore, but you got to trust some of those new wide receivers that they've spent all summer making that connection with. And with that schedule, we'll get into some scenarios here when we get to our playoff brackets in a little bit. But with that schedule, I mean, anything less than 11-1, like I'm
Like
going to be questioning it. Yeah,
I agree, man. And before we move on, speaking of complimentary football, like I was talking about with LSU a minute ago, I think Penn State's going to be playing more complimentary football on the offensive side. I do think they're going to be much more balanced this year. They've obviously they don't need to get away from running the football. Let's
yeah,
clear that out of the air. Let's clear that now. Like I don't want to see Drew Aller putting the ball up 35 times a game. He just needs to be efficient. He needs to be able in the bigger games to, again, the Notre Dame game, he didn't even complete a pass to the wide receiver.
yeah.
He just needs to be able to push the ball down the field, hit shot plays, and just move the chains, be solid, be a good, again, be a good point guard
Hmm.
while that running game and that defense still is their focal point of their overall team. That needs to be what they need to do. Like Aller needs to be able just to be very solid against the best teams. He's been solid against the lesser teams. He needs to be solid against the best teams if Penn State's going to compete for a national championship.
Yeah. Number two, from what I've seen, we are the highest on this team from any of the rankings that I've seen anybody put out.
And I'm fine with it, bro. Like I'm good with this.
We had them there when and they got a chance to make us look foolish on August 31st, but I hope they don't. But we've got Notre Dame at number two. And now that they've named a starting quarterback in CJ Carr, does that make you more confident about placing them at number two?
It does. It does. Even though I've never seen Kenny Minchie play in a game, and I've never seen CJ Carr play in a
Meaningful
game, like
snaps. Yeah.
in a meaningful snaps in big games.
Yeah.
No, but just everything that you hear from people that actually see practices and see scrimmages and see things that none of us get to see is that he opens up that offense and this opens up so many more things for that offense. Like we had Brian Driscoll on from Irish Breakdown. If this is your first time listening to us, I can't tell you guys enough. Not only did you need to go follow Brian Driscoll from Irish Breakdown and subscribe to his stuff if you're a Notre Dame fan, but you need to go check out our interview with him of our Notre Dame preview. About as in depth and awesome of a breakdown of just Notre Dame as you're going to see, man. Like that was one of
Yeah.
our most watched, viewed, subscribed, etc. episodes that
Mhm.
we've ever had, and for a good reason. It was just incredible stuff, man. But I do this wide receiver room, Mike Denbrock. Like again, people just casuals just don't understand that Mike Denbrock was the OC at LSU and Jaden Daniels won the Heisman Trophy in that LSU offense with those ridiculous receivers that they had, and Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas Jr. when they were averaging like 500 yards a game and slinging it all over the place, and were one of the most exciting, the most exciting offense other than Washington in the entire country that year. Uh, that is the same offensive coordinator.
Mhm.
A sign of a great OC is one that adjusts to what he has as talent on his team and what his team needs to do to win football games. You are a Notre Dame fan. We don't hide our fandom here. Did you want to see Riley Leonard throw the ball 40 times a game last year?
Scared me every time he did.
Okay. With Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price in that offensive line and that defense, run the damn ball and bloody people's noses on both sides of the line of
It's
scrimmage.
very, very similar to Penn State, where like I think now they have a quarterback that they think can throw the ball. So like Penn State has Drew Aller who can throw the ball, can make some throws, might make some mistakes. And obviously CJ Carr being a redshirt freshman, he's probably going to make some mistakes. But again, you have that defense to lean on, you have that run game to lean on.
Yeah, dude, I couldn't agree more. I do think they're going to throw the ball more, but I don't know that it's going to be like just like
Yeah.
significantly more attempt wise. I think they're going to be able to push the
Yeah.
ball down the field more, take more shots with a
That's just never
Malachi.
been who Notre Dame is. Like they've always been a team that just wants to run the ball.
Exactly. Again, I do think they're going to throw the football more, but I
Yeah.
think it's going to be like how great, dude, the best friend for CJ Carr being able to turn around and put the ball in Jeremiah Love or Jadarian Price's belly and pull that ball out and turn around and to see Malachi Fields and Jaden Greathouse and Will Pauling and those weapons at wide receiver and Faison. I
Mhm.
mean, dude, like the play action pass game for
Yeah.
CJ Carr is going to be huge. But again, he's unproven. We need to see him go out and actually do it in meaningful games. What I want to see from all, dude, I have look, okay. A lot of these teams we've got here ranked, man, like I have no issue with these quarterbacks.
I mean, we got like half the teams have unproven quarterbacks.
Exactly. I have no issue with the talent that these guys have.
Yeah.
Like again, these teams don't recruit bad players to come play freaking quarterback for them. They're all talented. What I want to know is what they're going to do. Like what does CJ Carr do if they're down there in Miami? It's the fourth quarter and the Canes are up 3 to start the fourth quarter. You've thrown a pick there in the second half, like a lot of adversity. Like that's what I want to see. I want to see Ty Simpson at Alabama when he's sitting there in Athens and that place is nuts. You can't even hear yourself freaking think. And you get a strip sack fumble on you and cost your team a touchdown. How do you react from
Mhm.
that? That's what I want to see. But dude, this Notre Dame team, both sides of the ball, I think they're loaded at the line of scrimmage. Again, it's not a concern, but a question for me will be what does the defense look like with Chris Ash as opposed to Al Golden? We saw how great it was with Al Golden, but it's not a concern for me because as long as Marcus Freeman's the head coach there, he's earned his stripes for me as far as defensive head coach wise and a defensive coach in general. I think the defense is going to be fine. It's can CJ Carr just be solid and can that defense just not take a big drop with a new DC?
And number one, we have the Texas Longhorns, and all the SEC fans are just rolling their eyes as they've clearly earned their spot at the top of the rankings, right? So, Arch Manning, obviously, big headliner, but just
Yeah.
not even really to talk about Arch. Just running backs wise, CJ Baxter's coming back. They've got Ryan Wingo. They've got a bunch of other wide receivers. Tight ends are always a good thing for Sark. Offensive line, defensive line. I mean, every level of the defense, Colin Simmons, Trey Moore, Anthony Hill Jr., Michael Taff. It just, again, we talked about talent acquisition. Sark's right up there with the best of them. They've got money to spend down there in Texas, and they are spending it. And I think that Texas rightfully is number one. They get to face number 6 in our poll, but number 3 in the AP poll week 1. So, I don't know really if that game will tell us. I mean, yeah, if someone gets blown out, that'll tell us something. But if it's a close game, like a lot are expecting, 2 or 3 point spread, 23-20 type game, something like that, then I mean, I don't foresee a lot of teams moving. Like if Texas beats Ohio State by 3, yeah, are you going to knock Ohio State down a ton? Probably not.
No, this Texas team, man. My questions are offensive line. They lost some guys, obviously, to the NFL, but in Texas's 3 biggest games last year, dude, they gave up like 13 sacks combined in the 2 Georgia losses.
Hmm.
Uh, they were awful. I mean, awful running the football against Georgia and Ohio State. Now, again, think about who we're talking about, the team that they're playing against in those 2 games, 2 of the best defenses. But again,
Yeah.
we're talking about Texas winning a national championship, being the best team in the country. They've got to get better at red zone offense. That's been a bugaboo for Sark the last 2 years. I think with Arch Manning, with his dual threat ability and his from the power run game from the quarterback position, having Q Wisner and CJ Baxter, I do think that they'll be able to be better in the red zone offense game there. Offensive line wise, I still think this because of talent acquisition, they're going to be solid. And dude, Texas is one of those teams. They're really good at adding pieces that they need in the transfer portal. Tyler, how many people did they go out and add in the transfer portal on the offensive line?
I believe it was 0.
Correct. So what does that tell you?
Yeah, they like what they have there.
They like what they have there. The interior of the defensive line, 2 years in a row, they went out and got just a wave of dudes in the transfer portal to fill in on the interior defensive line, and they hit last year. So if they hit again this year, this is going to be arguably the best defense in the country because everything else on that defense,
Yeah.
linebacker position, edge position, and the DBs, nasty.
Yep.
Coaching continuity wise, dude, I don't know how Sark does it. He's pretty much keeps almost every single coach. Blake Gideon, the DB's coach, went to be the defensive coordinator at Georgia Tech. Other than that, bro, they keep pretty much everybody
Yeah.
from their off-field staff, on-field staff. They keep everybody together. I mean, we're fans of the sport, bro. I don't know who's not excited to watch what Arch Manning is going to be like
Yeah.
at
Yep.
Texas. Does he
Yep.
live up to it? I don't even care about that, man. I could care less about living
Yeah.
up to the hype. I'm just excited to watch the dude play freaking college football, man. That we get to see a Manning play QB at Texas.
Yep.
Uh, but from an overall talent standpoint, man, roster, coaching staff, I'm great with where we've got Texas at number one. There's a reason why they're number one in a lot of other people's polls too.
So there's our top 12. We got Texas, Notre Dame, Penn State, Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, Georgia, LSU, Oregon, Florida, Texas A&M, Arizona State. Real quick before we get out of here, before we get the season started, man, let's give our college football playoff predictions. We're not going to give you I mean, we may, if we get pushed, we may give you a champion. But you gotta see what the bracket's like in December. It's almost like March Madness. You got to see what the bracket's like. We're just going to give you how we think the bracket's going to be presented on December 7th or whatever that day is, that Sunday where they do the selection show. So, do you want to go first? Or you want me to?
Let me go first, bro. Let me add him. Let me add him.
Okay,
All right, man. I'm going to
go
start
for
here
it.
at the top of the bracket and go down. Man, if you've followed us, we've had Josh Abbott on from the Josh Abbott Band, who's a diehard Texas Tech fan. We've been drinking that guns up Kool-Aid this offseason with what they've done in the transfer portal. Having the number one transfer portal class in the country. Man, I just think that this Texas Tech team is the most talented team in the Big 12. I think they're going to be really good on both sides of the line of scrimmage. So I've got Texas Tech as the 8 seed as your Big 12 champion hosting a college football playoff game in Lubbock at Jones AT&T Stadium. If I wished I had some tortillas right now, I'd be slinging tortillas right here on camera for everybody. And dude, I can't think of a more fun fan base to welcome into Jones AT&T Stadium. You want to talk about the place to be on the college football playoff Saturday? I think it's like December the 20th. Let's go to West Texas, bro, into oil country. And
Yeah.
let's go to Lubbock and see the LSU fans and Texas Tech fans mix it up together there in Lubbock. I've got LSU as the 9 seed in the SEC. So I've
Yeah,
got
I like how you have that too, because a lot of people be tempted to just put LSU ahead of Texas Tech, and
Mhm.
obviously with the tougher schedule in the SEC, but just kind of rewarding an actual conference champion. I mean, they're not doing the seeding where they do the 1 through 4 anymore. It's a straight seeding model now.
Yep.
So, like last year, Texas Tech wins this, they probably would have got a bye in the top four seed. So maybe I just think the committee still might reward that champion with giving them a home game.
Yep, and that's a good time to say this. I actually heard a few other shows say this as well recently, and I couldn't agree more. I do think that we're going to have more 9-3 football teams that are going to be making college football playoffs
Yep.
because I think that the overall just talent is just being so much
Yeah.
more dispersed
Yeah.
across college football. Again, we're talking about Texas Tech having the number one transfer portal class in the country.
Hmm.
Like teams like Illinois, Indiana, all these other teams are grabbing solid players in the transfer portal. So that, again, the talent is being dispersed. Like there aren't just 3 or 4 teams. It's just stockpiling 4 deep of 5 stars anymore. A lot of these guys are going elsewhere. So I've
Yep.
got LSU actually right now, as we sit here today, going 9-3 and being a 9 seed. Because we also saw today, you sent it to me, that they've come out with a new strength of schedule metric that they're going to be looking at
Yep.
for the college football playoff committee. Who knows if they'll actually share exactly how they look at that with us
Yeah.
publicly? Probably not.
Yeah.
But either way, I've got LSU at 9-3, being a 9 seed, going traveling to Lubbock. 5 seed, I've got Clemson. I had Clemson losing 2 games this year as the ACC champ. Until somebody in the group of 5 shows me that they're going to be better than Boise. I know Boise lost, obviously, Ashton Genty, but that team last year was more than Ashton Genty. I believe in Spencer Danielson, what he's building there at Boise. Until somebody knocks him off, I'm going to have Boise as the group of 5 team. So I've got Boise traveling to Clemson in the 12-5 matchup. I've got Oregon as the 11 seed, and this was where it's going to get interesting. I've got Oregon going 10-2. If you look at Oregon's schedule, if they go 10-2, one of those losses being to Penn State, I wonder if everybody will keep that same energy with a brand like Oregon that they did last year with SMU and that they did with Indiana.
Yeah.
Everybody acted like Indiana didn't deserve to be in the playoff because who'd you beat? Who'd you play? And they went 11-1. And SMU, who'd you beat? All right, who'd you play? Well, Oregon at 10-2. You tell me, who'd you beat? I've
So you
got
got
them.
them losing. You got them losing to Penn State and Washington.
Yes.
Yeah. So
I got
and like who would be their best win? I mean, Iowa.
maybe, or it could be Sigs in Indiana.
Yeah.
Could be USC, Lincoln Riley. It depends on
Yeah.
what those teams do.
Yeah. Right.
And again, if okay, let's just say this. Let's say if Indiana does end up, I've got Indiana going 9-3. I've got USC going 9-3. Hell, it was just a 9-3 party in the Big Ten for me.
Yeah,
My
you do.
predictions that I put out. Uh, so if those teams all are 9-3, then this argument I'm making right now is completely, nullified and doesn't matter. But there will be people that will be saying that. But that's why I have them as the 11 seed, because the teams that I'm going to mention here in a minute, like LSU being one of them, is going to have better wins and a tougher strength of schedule. So that's why I've got Oregon
Mm.
at the 11 seed. I got them playing Texas, the 6 seed, in Austin. Again, what a matchup that would
Fun
be.
matchup.
Yeah, it would be. So those two brands and seeing Dan Lanning and Sark go against each other. Those two teams, that'd be a fun matchup in Austin. And in the 7-10 matchup, I've got the Buckeyes as the 7 seed because I've got Ohio State going 10-2. And if you're a Ohio State fan listening to this, do me a favor and close your ears before you tell me I don't know ball and that they should make this more expensive, as Tyler likes to say. But until the Buckeyes show me, bro, that they can beat Michigan right now and they can get that monkey off their back, I'm not going to sit here and predict them in August to go into the big house and beat Michigan right now.
Yeah.
Just not. And like maybe when that week comes along and if Michigan ends up just sucking this year, maybe. But we thought that last year.
Yeah.
What weren't they like 21-point favorites?
Yeah. It was up there.
Yeah.
19 and a half,
So
20. Yeah.
yeah, but I've got the Buckeyes losing to Texas week 1, and I've got them losing bookends, losing to Texas week 1, losing to Michigan last game of the year, going 10-2. And so I've got the Buckeyes as the 7 seed. And then I've got, again, put my money where my mouth is. I've got the Florida Gators as a 10 seed. I think they're going to go 9-3. And because of the schedule that they play, because of the wins that they would have with a record of 9-3. I've got them beating Miami in the non-conference. I've got them beating Texas in the swamp. Games like that. I've got them beating Ole Miss on the road at Ole Miss. I've got them beating Tennessee in the swamp. With the strength of schedule that they'll have, with the wins that they'll have, I've got Florida as the 10 seed, which is why, again, I have them ahead of Oregon, because when you compare the resumes, that when we're not doing what we think the committee would do, we're doing as if our ass was on the committee.
Yeah.
And so I've got Florida as the 10 seed. So, and quickly, just 1 through 4 here. I've got Georgia as the 4 seed. I've got them losing in the SEC championship game to Alabama. I've got Georgia beating Alabama in Athens in the regular season game. I've got them in a rematch in Atlanta for the SEC championship game, and Alabama beating Georgia in the SEC championship game. So I've got Georgia as the 4 seed. I've got Notre Dame as the 3 seed. If some people want to ask me, well, who do you have Notre Dame losing to? Great question. The answer is, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're going to go undefeated. Now, somebody might ask, well, that's stupid, Lance. Like, why don't you tell us who you have them losing to? You got to have them losing to somebody. Would you have predicted last year that they'd go 11-1 and their only loss be to Northern Illinois?
Yeah.
No. So the loss is going to come somewhere. Will it come at Arkansas and that crazy deal there in Fayetteville? Will it come against A&M? Will it come at Miami? Will it come against USC? Will it come on a random Saturday on the road at Pitt? Like, I don't know. It's going to come somewhere. I think they're going to go 11-1. So I've got them as the 3 seed. 2 seed, I've got SEC champion Alabama. And as the 1 seed, I've got Big Ten champion Penn State as the 1 seed.
Okay. I'm gonna start off. I'm gonna just get it out of the way. I've got 1 seed Notre Dame, and I've got, again, you just mentioned their schedule and everything. Kelly Ford, K Ford Ratings has them as 13% chance to go 12-0, highest of any team in the country. I
Makes sense.
just think if they get past those first 2 games, yeah, they could lay an egg, but like, if they get past those first 2 games, Miami and Texas A&M, they've got a very, very good shot.
Yeah, I don't mean to cut you off, but like as we sit here in August, bro, when you're projecting this stuff, nobody's sitting around right now projecting Notre Dame to lose to somebody outside of those couple of teams that you're mentioning. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
nobody's projecting Notre Dame to lose at home to USC right now.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
we sit here today. So yeah,
Yep.
I don't disagree with that
Yep.
with that analogy.
So if they get to 12-0, I think they'll be the 1 seed because right now I have them the only undefeated team. All right, so 8-9 matchups. Funny, we both had our Big 12 champions at 8 seeds hosting the same team. So I got Baylor winning the Big 12 and beating Arizona State in the championship game.
If there's anybody that supports the Big 12, it's us, bro. Like we'll put the Big 12 on our backs
Yeah.
and America's conference, the conference of chaos, ATB, we got you, Big 12.
Yep. We should AT Big 12. That's what we'll call it. So I got Baylor hosting LSU in Waco. That would be a fun game with Jake Spavital's offense versus, the offense from LSU and Garrett Nussmeier. A couple of solid quarterbacks there. It'd be fun game.
Yep.
Um,
A rematch of
I've
last year's
got
bowl game.
what's that?
That's a rematch of last year's bowl game.
It is. It
Yeah.
is a rematch.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got Ohio State at 5. I know you had them at 7. I've got them losing to Texas and Michigan as well. I just have them a little as the loser of the Big Ten championship game and only losing one conference game. I just think that they'll get a little more respect and get the number 5 seed.
I could see that.
Yeah, and I've got Boise again, like same reasons you mentioned: Spencer Danielson, Maddox Madsen. I just think until Tulane, Memphis, James Madison, heck UNLV. I mean,
Hey,
whoever.
hey, don't disrespect the troops, bro.
Yeah,
Navy.
Army, Navy, yeah, all of
Navy
them.
this year, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I'm
they've
with
all
you.
got
I'm
a
with you.
chance.
We both got Boise in until
Yeah.
somebody says it's different. I agree.
So that would be a fun game as well. I've got Oregon as a 6, and again, I get all your points. I just think I don't think that Oregon has the name brand and being to national championship games and multiple college football playoffs. I think they're still going to get the respect. I do have them going 10-2 as well.
Look,
I
time
have
out.
them
I mean, it's a great time to ask this. So I did mine, and it's okay if you did yours different. I did mine based off like what I would do. Are you
yeah.
doing yours based off a bit of a mixture of what you think the committee would do and what you would do, or is it just
I'm just trying to be right here. Okay, I'm just trying to be right.
okay? So it's
And so
basically
I mean,
it's just as much of what the committee would do.
yeah, but it's factored in with the record. Like I have Clemson as a 7 seed, but I have them going 9-3
That's
in
true.
the
That's
regular
true.
season. So
I'll
I've
shut
got
up.
Oregon as a 10-2 team over a 9-3 team right there. So I just think looking at records, maybe that's foolish of me, but I got Oregon as a 6. I got them playing Georgia Tech.
Mm.
That's my regular season ACC champ. I've got them squeezed in there at the 11 spot.
Hashtag sting 'em.
Yes, sting 'em hard. And I've got them playing Clemson in the ACC championship game. I got them winning 10 games, and I think if we saw anything last year, that ACC, if you make it one of those championship games, unless you're Iowa State, you got a good chance of getting in. And then good old fashioned rivalry at 7-10. I've got Clemson versus Georgia. Georgia making it in at 9-3. Clemson winning the ACC. Again, I think they'll reward them with that home game. And they probably have a little more respect for Clemson. And I've got Clemson beating LSU. So that has them ranked higher in here. So I've got Clemson winning that game. I think they'll look at that. I would look at that if I was on the committee and say, okay, let's put them at a Baylor as a higher ranked conference champion there.
Because you've got Georgia 9-3, right?
Georgia 9-3.
Yeah, I think that the fact that both of them would have the same regular season record, like you said, Clemson will win over LSU and also a conference championship. They do love the conference championship.
I know. I just think I mean,
That makes sense.
yeah, it's still got to count for something. Like,
That makes sense.
you got to play the games on the field.
Yep.
I talked about Notre Dame. I got Penn State winning the Big Ten at 11-1, so 12-1, winning the Big Ten and getting that number 2 seed. I got Alabama winning the SEC. They'll be 10-2 in the regular season, so 11-2. So I'll slot them at number 3, and then I got them beating Texas. And so I got the SEC teams on the opposite side of the bracket. Would love to see. I know it wouldn't be in South Bend, but love to see that LSU versus Notre Dame matchup in the second round.
Yeah.
Texas versus Ohio State, you could get that as a rematch from week 1 and a rematch from the semifinals last year.
Yep.
Alabama, Oregon, how many years have people wanted to see Nick Saban versus Chip Kelly, right? We don't get Nick Saban. We just get Kalen DeBoer versus Dan Lanning once again.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Oh, man.
Penn State playing Georgia or Clemson. Like, so many good matchups here. I can't even begin to think about even picking a winner from my own bracket. But, man, I just cannot wait Can't wait to get the season started.
Oh, me either, bro. Like your Penn State at number 2. Do you have them losing to Ohio State and Columbus in the regular season?
Yep.
And
Yeah,
do
we
you
pretty
have
much
them
locked
beating the
stuff there.
Buckeyes in the Big Ten championship?
Yep.
Yep. Nice. Uh, Alabama, you said 10-2. Who's your 2 losses?
I think they're gonna drop one at Jordan Hare. I just,
Oof.
they should have dropped one 2 years ago, right? 4th and
Yeah.
31. Like, it's just I think they're gonna drop one there, and then I got them losing, who do I have them
Is
losing
it
to?
Cocktober?
It is in South Carolina, yeah. I
October?
mean, that's just a tough, tough spot right after the
It
Tennessee
is,
game.
man. It is, dude. That
But I got him going winning in Georgia. I just like I said the other day, man, I just think I mean, Kirby's 1-6 against Georgia
yeah.
in his career, and he's lost, like, 8 other games total or 7 other games total. It's ridiculous.
Bro, I can't imagine what Georgia fans will do finally getting to host Alabama, like, again, for the first
Yeah.
time since like 2014,
Yeah.
15, something like that. It was the Jake Coker Bama team, I think the last team that went into
Yeah.
Athens. So yeah,
And
man.
I think I mean, you know me, I love Kalen DeBoer, and I think he's just a big game coach.
He is. He is. He's
Yeah.
proven that. He's got to prove though that he could do well, that's another podcast.
Well, your bracket, I mean, you'd have Alabama versus Ohio State 2nd round, Notre
Yeah.
Dame, Texas, Georgia, Clemson, Penn State, LSU, Penn State, Texas Tech.
Yeah, man. If getting Georgia Clemson 2nd round, Penn State, whoever comes out of that Texas Tech LSU game, if it is Texas, no matter who it is, Texas or Oregon, playing Notre Dame would be again a blast.
But I think the way we look at our brackets right here, because they went to the straight seeding model, you don't look at one of these paths and say, shoot, man, they've got like an easy path. Like we looked at
Agreed.
last year and we said, whoever's that 5 seed, whoever's that 6 seed, they're going to have an easy pass. But you look here, Clemson wins, they play Georgia, right? Texas wins, they play Notre Dame, and mine, Ohio State, Texas, Oregon, Alabama. Like, so it just that was just such a no brainer.
Yep.
Switching that.
Yep. Like I said, all the 1 through 4 seeds. I don't think anybody has in either one of our brackets. Neither one of them has a great advantage over the other one. Like I don't think that Penn State has some. If they draw LSU, I don't think Penn State has some great advantage over 4 seed Georgia, who would draw probably Clemson.
Yeah.
In the next round. So
Yeah.
that goes back to again what we've talked about. All these teams that are, not too much separates them. But
Yep. You're gonna have to earn it on the field, man.
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. This is not prisoner of the moment. This is one of the most fun episodes that we've done. This was a blast, bro.
Yeah, dude. It feels like we made it.
Yeah.
The season is here, and we get to get to talk about ball on the field. Hopefully, there's no cheating, scandals. Hopefully, there's sign stealing scandals this year. We don't talk about. Let's just talk about football. Let's just watch the games, enjoy it, man. Again, follow us all season long. Apple, Spotify, YouTube, X, Instagram, TikTok. We're always out there. We're always available. Hit us up. We love to chat ball. We love to talk ball. Obviously, we're always doing it. You got anything else, man? Any more off-season stuff? Because this is it. You got to say all your off-season piece. We've
Nope.
made our predictions. They're set in stone. Go check out all of our conference predictions. We'll put out some graphics here soon of, conference championship games, and we'll put out our graphics and, of our brackets and everything like that. And you guys can ridicule us and all that. So that's it, man. Excited to get the season started. For Lance Barton, I'm Tyler Noe. Take care. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you next time.